चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयप्रताप स्वामी नित्यानंद। नमो आचार्य पदाय निताय कृपाप्रदाय गौर कथा धामदाय नगर ग्राम तारिणे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नित्यानंद। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरिं तत्सत्। Just hold on 1 second. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So text number 8 and 9. So we discussed this last week. Why does Krishna appear in this planet? Right? तो उसका कारण क्या है भगवान के आने का? परित्राणाय साधुनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे। तो भगवान के प्रकट होने का कारण 3 है। दुष्टों का विनाश करना, जो उनके भक्त हैं उनका रक्षा करना और धर्म का स्थापना करना। सो एक्चुअली this material world is just 1/4 of the creation, entire creation. मतलब भगवान का जो अगर आप पूरा creation लोगे तो उसमें सिर्फ 1/4 portion is material world and 3/4 portion is the spiritual world. तो ये हमारा जो material world है ये manifest होता है बीच में, थोड़े टाइम के लिए रहता है and then unmanifest हो जाता है, फिर से महाविष्णु के शरीर में सब कुछ चला जाता है। So basically जो 3/4 creation है वो eternal है, वो शाश्वत है। और वहां पे भगवान नारायण के फॉर्म में अलग अलग जो भगवान के अवतार हैं, राम अवतार, वराह अवतार, नरसिंह अवतार, ये सारे वैकुंठ लोक, उनका एक एक वैकुंठ लोक है। देयर आर मिलियंस एंड मिलियंस ऑफ वैकुंठ लोक और वहां पे वो रिसाइड करते हैं। एंड इन गोलोक वृंदावन लॉर्ड कृष्णा हिमसेल्फ रिसाइड्स। सो कृष्णा इज रिसाइडिंग इन हिज इटर्नल अबोर्ड इटर्नली। और ये मटेरियल वर्ल्ड बीच बीच में कभी कभी महाविष्णु के बॉडी से मैनिफेस्ट होता है, स्टेज फॉर सम टाइम एंड अनमैनिफेस्ट हो जाता है। Right, so now is the period when the material world is manifest. अभी हम manifest पीरियड में रह रहे हैं, इसीलिए सब कुछ जो है वर्ल्ड जो है चल रहा है. Okay, and we are doing according to our karma, we are doing activities. Now during this period of material creation, Krishna sometimes comes himself, या तो खुद आते हैं material world में, या वो अपने किसी पार्षद को भेजते हैं, या भगवान अपने किसी एक अवतार में आते हैं. और कारण यही है कि उनको ये तीनों में से एक करना है, तीनों में से एक नहीं, तीनों ही उनको करना है कि जो दुष्ट लोग हैं, जो उनके अगेंस्ट काम करते हैं, उनका विनाश करना, जो उनके भक्त लोग हैं उनकी रक्षा करना, और उन्हें वापस ले जाना. रक्षा करना मतलब टू ब्रिंग देम बैक टू द स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड एंड देन टू रीएस्टैब्लिश धर्मा अगेन एंड अगेन व्हेनेवर इट गेट्स ब्रोकन. तो आप कोई भी अवतार ले लो, राम अवतार ले लो, नरसिंह अवतार ले लो, वराह अवतार ले लो, हर अवतार में भगवान का यही तीन मेन रीजन रहा है. इवन इन टुडेज कलयुगा, it is said that the Lord has appeared in the name of holy name, in the form of holy name. Sound vibration के फॉर्म में भगवान अवतार लिए हैं कलयुग में. एक तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु इज कृष्णा हिमसेल्फ, but he never declared that he is Krishna. He is known as छन्न अवतार और हिडन अवतार, क्योंकि चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने कभी भी डिक्लेयर नहीं किया, मतलब कभी भी ऐसा किसी को बताया नहीं कि वो ये भगवान है, तो इसीलिए उनको हिडन अवतार कहा जाता है. सो इन दिस कलयुग कृष्णा हैज अपीयर्ड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ होली नेम, साउंड वाइब्रेशन. और साउंड वाइब्रेशन के द्वारा भी, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र के द्वारा भी भगवान ये तीनों काम कर रहे हैं. जो दुष्टों का विनाश, अब दुष्टों का विनाश कैसे कर रहे हैं, तो कलयुग में तो एक्चुअली सभी लोगों के अंदर एवरी पर्सन हैज सम डिमोनियक mentality. Good, divine and demoniac both are present in the same person in कलयुग. कलयुग में हर एक व्यक्ति के अंदर कुछ डिविनिटी है, कुछ डेमोनियक टेंडेंसीज हैं. तो जब हम हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जप करते हैं तो हमारे अंदर का जो डिमोनियक टेंडेंसीज है वो खत्म हो जाता है. We naturally become very pure and pure-hearted. Our thoughts become pure, our actions become pure. तो जो डिमोनिक टेंडेंसीज है वो चला जाता है. तो परित्राणाय नहीं विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम, तो विनाश हो जाता है हमारे दुष्कृति का, राइट, हमारे सारे अनर्थास का और जो डिमोनिक टेंडेंसीज है उसका विनाश हो जाता है. फिर परित्राणाय साधनम, भगवान फिर हमारी रक्षा करते हैं, बिकॉज नाउ वी हैव स्टार्टेड फॉलोइंग द पाथ ऑफ कृष्णा, chanting the holy name. Then Krishna protects his devotees. He protects us from so many calamities and so many from Kalyug also. Lord Krishna protects us from time to time, and he protects us from our own karma. We have so much of baggage of karma on our head. इतने सारे जन्मों का जो कर्म है वो भगवान फिर बहुत थोड़े में हमें देते हैं, उसको बहुत कम कर देते हैं. So he protects his devotees when he start chanting. And all divine qualities, they appear in our heart. We start following dharma, तो naturally dharma फिर हमारी रक्षा करते हैं. And then युग धर्म का स्थापना करना. So basically the purpose of human life is to become self-realized, is to realize Krishna. So for in every age there are different processes for the same. In Satyug it was doing Ashtanga yoga. In Treta Yuga it was doing yagyas, and in Dwapar Yuga it was pilgrimage, going to the pilgrimage, right? In Kali Yuga it is chanting the holy name. तो सिर्फ हरि नाम करने से ही हमें अपने जीवन में जो है we will attain the goal of our life, we will attain perfection of life. So the chanting the holy name itself is incarnation of Lord Krishna, and it is doing all three purposes. The 9th verse में हमने देखा, Lord Krishna says, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So Krishna says that in human form of life, after attaining human form of life, which we attain after 84 lakh species, मतलब 84 लाख योनि से गुजरने के बाद हमें मनुष्य का शरीर प्राप्त होता है, राइट. तो ये मनुष्य का शरीर जब प्राप्त होता है तो वी शुड ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कृष्णा, हु इज कृष्णा, हाउ कृष्णा इज डिवाइन, हाउ ही इज कंप्लीटली सच्चिदानंद, ही डजंट हैव अ मटेरियल बॉडी लाइक अस, एंड ही इज अ पर्सन. क्योंकि मैक्सिमम लोग जो स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट ना, आप देखोगे 99% लोग जो हैं ये बोलते हैं कि भगवान का कोई फॉर्म नहीं है, भगवान निराकार है, भगवान सिर्फ एक ज्योति है. या कोई बोलता है कि हम सब लोग भगवान हैं, आप भी भगवान हो, मैं भी भगवान हूँ, या कोई बोलता है कि भगवान तो होते ही नहीं है. So like this, so many varieties of people are there who talk about God without knowing who is God, right? So Krishna himself tells in Bhagavad Gita that I am a person, right? Everything is resting on me, everything is coming from me, I am the source of everything, I am the supreme enjoyer, I am the supreme creator. So can a creator, enjoyer, proprietor be something formless? Can he be just a light? एक लाइट कुछ एंजॉय कर सकता है क्या? एक लाइट कुछ सोच सकता है क्या? नहीं. एक व्यक्ति सोच सकता है, राइट? वी आर पर्सन्स, वी नो दैट वी कैन थिंक, बट हाउ कैन वी इमेजिन कि एक ट्यूबलाइट है हमारे रूम में, वो सोच सकता है, वो कुछ आइडिया दे सकता है, या वो एक पर्सन की तरह बिहेव कर सकता है? So if Krishna has feelings, if he's talking, if he's speaking something, that means he is a person. So those people who say that God is impersonal, he has no form, they are the greatest offenders of God. Imagine अगर suppose आपको ही कोई बोलेगा कि आप exist ही नहीं करते हो, you know, if somebody says Alka Gupta doesn't exist, just unka naam hai, yeah, you know, something is there but the person doesn't exist. Or somebody says Mamta Kamath doesn't exist, Madhuri Mamta Mai, she doesn't exist only. So this is like an offense, right? Because we are persons, we have personality, we have our own individuality. So if we all have our own individuality, how can we talk about God as impersonal, that he has no form? So that's the greatest offense to God. So Krishna is telling in this verse, whoever at least understands this much, that I am a person, I am transcendental to the material nature. Transcendental to material nature means we are also part and parcel of Krishna, but we come under the influence of material nature. मतलब ये जो तीन गुण है ना, सत्वगुण, तमोगुण, रजोगुण, we get affected by them and we come under the control of them. We come under the control of karma. But Krishna, even though he comes in this material world, he never gets touched or affected by the three modes or by law of karma. So he is always divine, transcendental, Satchidanand. He comes in his own original Swaroop. And all his activities are carried out by internal potency, not by external potency. So अगर इतना भी हमको भगवान के बारे में समझ आ गया, then Krishna says that person is eligible to come to my eternal abode. That means we are eligible to become liberated. We are eligible to go back to Godhead. So this is so wonderful. Just by being in association of devotees, trying to understand Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand who is Krishna, we become liberated. Otherwise, for liberation, the yogis and the jnanis, for many, many lifetimes, they do so much of tapasya just to become liberated. But this liberation becomes so easy for a bhakta, for a devotee who is trying to understand Krishna with love, of course, not just by jnana, but with love. Okay, so by loving service, by bhakti, if we try to understand Krishna, then our life becomes very, very simple. In one lifetime itself, we can attain perfection. Otherwise, even to realize that we are soul, we need so many lifetimes of tapasya, austerity, then doing Ashtanga Yoga, reading all the Vedas, scriptures. तो ये ज्ञान योग और अष्टांग योग करने के बाद ही हमें ये समझ आया कि मैं आत्मा हूँ, शरीर नहीं हूँ. लेकिन भक्ति करने से हम इसके बियॉन्ड भी जाते हैं कि after knowing that we are spirit souls and where are we coming from, who is God, who is Krishna, what am I supposed to do after I know that I am soul? So all this can be attained only by bhakti yoga basically. Yeah, so that Krishna tells in text 9 that how bhakti yoga is very simple to practice in Kali Yuga, in all the ages actually. Because if we see Prahlad Maharaj, he practiced bhakti in Satya Yuga, right? And in different ages, the Pandavas, they practiced bhakti yoga in Dwapar Yuga, right? So it's not that bhakti yoga is something which is new and only for this age. It is meant for all the ages. It is the supreme most yoga system, and in all the ages, different people have practiced different processes. जैसे मैंने कहा कि हर एक युग के लिए अलग अलग प्रोसेस है, लेकिन भक्ति योगा भी कुछ लोगों ने, बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक लोगों ने प्रैक्टिस किया है. जैसे प्रहलाद महाराज, सत्ययुग में एक्चुअली अष्टांग योगा है, लेकिन प्रहलाद महाराज ने भक्ति योगा किया था, राइट? और ध्रुव महाराज ने अष्टांग योग किया था, लेकिन लेटर ऑन ही प्रैक्टिस भक्ति योगा आफ्टर ही गॉट द दर्शन ऑफ लॉर्ड विष्णु. So like that, Bhakti Yoga is the supreme most yoga system. But in Kali Yuga specifically, absolutely no other yoga system is going to work to attain self-realization. It is only and only Bhakti Yoga. So, and then text 10, Krishna says, being free from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me. And thus they all attained transcendental love for me. So we will read this verse. Priyanka Mataji, would you like to repeat this verse after me?
Okay.
Vitaraga bhaya krodha
Vitaraga bhaya krodha
manmaya mam upashritaha
manmaya mam upashita
bahavo jnana tapasa
bahuvo jnana tapassa
bhuta madbhavamagataha.
bhuta madhvamagata.
Yes, synonyms. Can you read the synonyms and translation?
Yes. Yes. Vit mukta, freedom from raga, attachment, bhaya, fear, krodh and anger, mat, maya, fully in me, mam, in me, upshrita, being fully situated, bhava, many, jnana, of knowledge, tapsa, by the penance, bhuta, being purified, mat bhavam, transcendental love for me, agata, attend, being freed from attachment, fear and anger. Mataji, 1 minute. Being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they are attained transcendental love for me.
Yeah.
Hare
So
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So basically, in order to follow the path of Bhakti Yoga, we need to be free from attachment, fear, and anger. Okay, now why do you think do you think we get this attachment, fear, and anger? हमें किस चीज से attachment होता है, किस चीज का fear होता है, और गुस्सा क्यों आता है? Anyone wants to share? Sita Lakshmi Mataji, Alka Mataji, Rajasakhi Mataji, would you like to share? Okay, Sita Lakshmi Mataji, आपको कुछ बोलना है?
Yeah, Mataji, I'm just reading. I don't know. I haven't read this before.
Okay. No, even if you have not read, don't read
Mm-hmm.
the purport.
Yeah.
Just by your own experience or your own opinion, just let me know what do we become attached to? Why do we feel fearful? Why do we get angry?
When we get attached to something and we feel that we will not be getting that, and so that fear is there. So it could be,
Yeah,
because like we are used to that. We are very much adamant that we need this certain things, like, and we are not getting, then we get anger on certain
angry.
thing. Yeah.
Or even when we get it, we become fearful that I may lose
Fearful.
it.
Yes.
Fear of losing it, right?
Yes.
So we become attached to our own self, the body, and then we develop fear that I don't want to die. I don't want to lose my identity, right? And then or sometimes we want something for our own happiness, so-called happiness, material happiness, but we don't get, and we get angry. So basically this attachment is to the matter, material things, thinking that I am the body, and anything related to the body, we become so attached. When I say that I am a body, I am a female, I'm so and so, I identify myself with my family, then my family become very dear to me, right? And anybody, if I lose anyone, I become so fearful of losing my dear ones. Or suppose money, if I take money also is very dear to everyone. right? When we work hard, we become attached to what we earn. And then when we lose, we become first of all angry when we don't get what we expect. And then we fear of losing what we are already getting. Right? So to so many things, you see anything material, we become so attached to them. Okay, so this is material conception of life. Basically, material conception of life gives us fear and anger. So those who are too much materially attached, for them, the Supreme Lord, when we talk about spirituality or the Supreme Lord, they cannot fathom who is God. How can God be spiritual? Because for them, everything is material. And in material life, they experience so much pain. So, when we tell them that there is a spiritual life where we can live eternally happy, we are persons, we are individuals, and we live eternally also individually, they become very afraid, thinking that, oh, again I'm going to get a body, again I'm going to get life. I don't want life. For them, spirituality means getting merged in the void, somewhere in the void. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Mujhe ye frustration ho gaya hai. Now I don't want birth again. They don't want birth because they have experienced that body means pain. जैसे ही बच्चा born हो जाता है, उसके बाद pain शुरू हो जाता है, right? The child cannot digest, the child cannot basically एक बच्चे को कुछ काट भी लेता है, he cannot even express, he just cries. So the body is the cause of pain, right? And the moment he starts eating, so many digestive problems starts manifesting the moment the child starts eating, right? So everyone has an experience of this. Body means body, along with body comes pain. It is side by side. मतलब एक coin का दो हिस्सा होता है, दो भाग होता है, right? Coin का there are two sides to a coin. Similarly, the body has two sides, right? Yes, we do get some happiness, but with happiness comes pain also. Okay, so after some experience of pain, a person, a jiva may think that, okay, I want liberation now. मुझे मुक्ति चाहिए, मुझे हो गया अभी, I don't want to take birth again. So for them, spirituality or liberation means no body. I don't want body. So, but they do not understand that spiritual body is something different. Spiritual body is not like the material body. Spiritual body is full of Satchit Anand. There is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease. Right? There is only happiness and bliss. So this they cannot understand just by our little mind. Okay, just by mental concoction, we cannot understand this. Just by jnana, just by reading, we cannot understand this. Okay, that is why, because they cannot understand this, they feel that it is better to get merged in the Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti. So they start believing that God means something impersonal, because how can God be a person? We have seen, we cannot do so many things. We are so bound. हम तो कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. हम एक, we cannot even maintain a relationship. We cannot even do something on our own. We are so much bound. So they cannot imagine how God can be free, how God can control everything, right? So so that is why they end up becoming impersonal or voidist. One second, just hold on. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So so basically they end up becoming impersonal. So in this verse, Krishna is saying, one who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, and who is fully absorbed in me and take refuge in me, many persons in the past have become purified by knowledge of me. So basically, fear, anger, and attachment is only because we think that we are body, and when we are attached to matter, we become fearful and we get angry. But when we understand the difference between matter and spirit, and we understand that spiritual world is fully personal, it is not something impersonal. जितना variety हम material world में देखते हैं, उससे कहीं ज़्यादा variety spiritual world में है. And when we understand who is Krishna, that Krishna is a person, he's a beautiful, sweet person, and how Krishna is so loving, he's so caring, he's so magnanimous, he's so wonderful. When we start understanding Krishna, we start taking shelter of Krishna, surrendering to Krishna, then automatically all our fear and anger, everything goes away. First thing is that we become fearless. The moment we start taking shelter of Krishna, we become fearless, because we understand that there is a person who will protect me in any circumstances. Normally we become fearful because हमें मालूम है कि even though I am dependent on, suppose a child may be is completely dependent on the parents, and he thinks that my parents will always protect me. But suppose the child has gone somewhere, suppose a child has gone to school, are the parents with the child in the school? No, वो child तो अकेला गया है school में. अब स्कूल से घर तक आने में या घर से स्कूल जाने में anything can happen, right? But the parents may not be able to protect the child at that time because they're not there with him. So even though we may think of some person to be the best person in our life who will always protect me, but still that person may not be in the position to protect us in every situation, right? So but who is that one person who is always there with us, who will always protect us in any situation, whether somebody is there or not there? He knows what is happening and what is not happening, and he's always there with us, and that is Krishna. Krishna is there with us in our heart as Paramatma. He knows everything, right? So this is what happens when we do bhakti yoga. तो जब हम भक्ति योग करते हैं और भगवान के बारे में जानते हैं, तो हमारा विश्वास जो है बढ़ जाता है that Krishna is always there with me, right? So all that fear then goes away. Otherwise we are so fearful of loneliness, we are so fearful of going anywhere alone, we are so fearful of even sending our children alone anywhere, right? Even parents are fearful that what will happen to my child if I leave him or her alone. So that fear also goes away because we know that Krishna is a supreme father. He will take care. What we are not able to do, Krishna is able to do. Krishna can do that, right? So this faith helps us to become fearless, and then we also become free from anger, because जब हमारे desires पूरे नहीं होते हैं तो हमें गुस्सा आ जाता है. This is natural. But when all our desires are only for serving Krishna, I just want to serve Krishna, and no more personal motivation, or no more any ulterior motivation कोई नहीं है, या personal sense gratification का desire नहीं है, तो automatically गुस्सा भी चला जाता है हमारा. We are always blissful and happy. So Krishna is telling that by practicing like this, so many people in the past have attained perfection. Many persons in the past have become purified, just like Dhruv Maharaj ka example le lo. So Dhruv Maharaj, he was a 5-year-old child, and he was insulted by his father, by his stepmother and father also. So he was so angry, so furious, because he was a Kshatriya. तो उस समय उसको तो बहुत गुस्सा आ गया था, क्योंकि उसे अपने पिताजी के गोद में बैठना था और वो पूरा नहीं हुआ. Just as we are discussing, गुस्सा कब आता है? जब हमारा डिजायर पूरा नहीं होता है. तो यहाँ पे ध्रुव का भी जो डिजायर था कि मुझे मेरे पिता के गोद में बैठना है, तो उसके स्टेप मदर ने अलाउ नहीं किया. So he felt so insulted and angry that he went to his mother and asked, how can I get a palace much more bigger than my father? तो उनकी माता ने तो her mother was a devotee of Lord Krishna, so she told him that the only way you can get it is by worshipping the Supreme Lord. Only he can fulfill your desire. So then he asked, what I have to do for that? So she said, go in the forest and you have to do tapasya to please him. So he immediately left the forest with a desire in the heart that I want a palace bigger than my father. और उनको नारद मुनि मिलते हैं, नारद मुनि उनको प्रोसेस बताते हैं अष्टांग योगा का, and then he starts doing it. Within 6 months he pleases Supreme Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu appears. But as soon as Lord Vishnu appears, Dhruv Maharaj का हृदय एकदम प्योर हो जाता है, and he tells Lord Vishnu that I'm so fortunate to get your darshan. Actually, I had come to collect some pieces of मिरर नहीं, कांच का टुकड़ा, मिरर ही बोलते हैं कि ऐसा कांच का टुकड़ा ही मैं लेने आया था. मतलब he had come to attain a big palace जिसको वो कांच के टुकड़े से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं. बट नाउ आई हैव गॉट डायमंड. डायमंड मीन्स लॉर्ड विष्णु योरसेल्फ, यू हैव अपीयर्ड, यू आर लाइक अ डायमंड फॉर मी. मैं कांच का टुकड़ा लेने आया था, लेकिन अब तो मुझे डायमंड मिल गया, तो अब मुझे नहीं चाहिए कुछ भी. So his heart became completely purified. So that is what Krishna is saying, that many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me. So he's also quoting the example of Dhruv Maharaj in this, when he's saying like this. Even Narad Muni ka example hai. Narad Muni in his previous life was the son of a maid servant, and he got the opportunity to associate with some pure devotees whom he served. और उनके बीच में रहकर उन्होंने कृष्ण के बारे में सुना, भक्ति के बारे में सुना. उसके बाद जब वो चले गए, और नारद मुनि की जो मम्मी है उनका भी मृत्यु हो गया very early because of snake bite. So he was left alone, a small 5-year-old child. Just imagine, just now we were talking about how children are dependent on their parents, but नारद मुनि तो 5 साल के थे, उनकी डैडी तो थे ही नहीं, मम्मी भी चली गई जल्दी. So now he's left all alone in this entire world, no one to look after, no one to take care of him. But what helped him? His service to the pure devotees and his hearing about Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha जो उन्होंने सुनी थी, भक्ति योगा के बारे में सुना था कि हमें भगवान के नाम का जप करना चाहिए, तो वो उन्होंने किया. After he left his house, he just walked all over the planet Earth, all over India, and then he was just chanting the holy name. And next life he got the body of Narad Muni. तो ये जो नारद मुनि का जो शरीर है उनका, वो भी शाश्वत है, वो उनका spiritual body है, eternal body है. So now we can understand, how the spiritual body is also a person. Like Narad Muni is a person, but his body is not like our body. We have a material body. Narad Muni has a spiritual body. और ये spiritual body उनको भक्ति योगा करने से मिला. पिछले जन्म में उन्होंने भगवान का नाम लिया था, भगवान के बारे में सुना था, प्योर डिवोटीज का सेवा किया था, और इसीलिए उनको ये spiritual body प्राप्त हुआ. So Krishna is giving us by examples. He's telling us, in the past many people have attained my abode. So this is the best way to attain liberation. The highest liberation is to perform bhakti and to know about me. Yeah. So we will read one more verse. We will read this verse more. This one verse, and then we'll stop because I need to leave early today. But we'll continue till 5 and then we'll stop. So 11th
Mataji, I'll
verse.
read 11. I'll read the 11th one.
Yes, Mataji, you can read. Ye yatha mam prapadyante.
Ye yata mam prapadyante.
Tams tathaiva bhajamyaham.
Tams tathaiva bhajamyaham.
Mama vartmanuvartante.
Mama vartmanuvartante.
Manushyaha partha sarvashah.
Manushyaha partha sarvashah. Ye all who, yatha as, mam unto me, prapadyante surrender, tan them, tata so, eva certainly, bhajami reward, aham I, mama my, vartma path, anuvartante follow, manusyah all men, partha O son of Pratha, sarvashah in all respects. Translation: as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. O son of Pratha. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Krishna tells here that he reciprocates with each of us, each of the Jivatma, according to their desire. According to their desire, मतलब जितना लोग desire करेंगे कृष्ण का सेवा करने के लिए, कृष्ण के साथ रेसिप्रोकेट करने के लिए, उतना कृष्ण जी रेसिप्रोकेट करते हैं. As one surrenders unto Krishna, Krishna reciprocates accordingly. अगर कोई 10% surrender करता है, Krishna will reciprocate 10%, maybe little more. But one who surrenders 100%, Krishna reciprocates 100% with them. Right? So जितना हम surrender करेंगे, भगवान भी उतना हमारे साथ reciprocate करते हैं. So he gives an example, like even in the material world, some people are impersonalist and they are only attracted to the Brahma Jyoti, to the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. मतलब जो ज्योति है, जो भगवान के शरीर से इतना effulgence निकल रहा है, they only want to get merged in that. So Krishna says, okay, fine. If you want to get merged in that, I will help you. So he helps them to perform austerities and tapasya and read all the Vedas and all that. And then eventually, if they are perfect in that, even for that, they need to take shelter of Krishna. Brahma Jyoti में भी लीन होने के लिए कृष्ण का ही shelter उनको लगता है. लेकिन अगर suppose they are attracted to that only, then Krishna will send them over there only. He will not say कि no, you come to my abode only and you serve me. वो Krishna never forces anyone. He gives the free will. Okay, in whatever way you want, whatever you want, you will get. So there are people who want just impersonal mukti, तो उनको वो मिल जाता है. There are people who just want to see the Paramatma in the heart, तो भगवान उनको अष्टांग योगा में इंस्पायर करते हैं, वो करते हैं. There are some people who just want to enjoy in the material world. Enjoy what enjoyment? They think they are enjoying, but they want to remain in the material world. They want Swargalok or they want some higher planets. They want some enjoyment in the material world. कि अच्छा फैमिली हो, अच्छा सब कुछ अच्छा मिले, मटीरियली सारा ऑपुलेंस मिले, तो ठीक है, भगवान वो भी उनको दे देते हैं. अगर कोई भक्ति करके, अगर भक्ति करने के बदले में उनको यही चाहिए, तो भगवान वो भी दे देते हैं उनको कि ठीक है, इफ यू आर चैंटिंग माय नेम बट यू वांट समथिंग मटेरियल, you will get something material only. You will get a material body. But as we know, Krishna also gives us the information. As long as we have the material body, with material body comes pain also. Like a coin has two sides. So happiness तो रहेगा because हमने भक्ति की, कुछ कोई जन्म में, पिछले जन्म में सपोज मैंने भक्ति की है, लेकिन उसके बदले में मैंने कोई भौतिक कामनाएं रखी, तो डेफिनेटली इस जन्म में भगवान मुझे सब कुछ देंगे जो भी मेरी कामनाएं थी. बट बॉडी है तो जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि रहेगा ही. आई विल गेट disease, I will get old age, I will have to die, I mean leave that body again and again take another body. और फिर इस जन्म में मैं कैसे कर्म करती हूँ, उस हिसाब से मेरा अगला जन्म डिसाइड होता. हो सकता है कि मैं भगवान को एकदम से भूल ही जाऊं, because as soon as we get opulence we forget God, thinking that we are only God, right? That's what we see in the material world. Those who have opulence, they forget that God is there. Yes, they may be religious, लेकिन भगवान को सरेंडर नहीं करते. वो इनफैक्ट ये बहुत कुछ करना चाहते हैं सोसाइटी में. They will do so many things. They will do so many things for the poor people, for the old people. अनाथालय, अनाथ आश्रम खोलेंगे, चैरिटी करेंगे, बट उसके पीछे उनका मकसद क्या है? कि उनका नाम हो जाए, लोग उनको भगवान समझे, उनका नाम हो, लोग उनके फॉलोअर्स बने, फेसबुक पे सब जगह उनके इतने सारे लाइक्स हो, इतने फॉलोअर्स बनेंगे. सो समवेयर दैट पर्सनल मोटिवेशन इज देयर, that I should be famous as God or somebody greatly charitable person, right? So and then they forget God because इतना उनको जब praise मिलता है, इतने लोग followers बनते हैं, तो naturally वो भगवान को भूल जाते हैं, खुद को ही भगवान समझने लगते हैं. तो ये danger है after getting material opulence, right? But Krishna still reciprocates. Whatever desire one may have, Krishna will reciprocate. And one who has a pure desire to serve Krishna always, then that person will go back to Krishna's abode. And Krishna will give that person 100%, meaning Krishna will give himself to that person. तो जो भगवान का प्रेम से सेवा करना चाहते हैं, भगवान उनके साथ भी रेसिप्रोकेट करते हैं by giving himself. So he may become, and वहां पे भी स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में भी जिसका जैसा डिजायर होगा, जैसे किसी को होगा कि मैं कृष्णा मेरे बेटे जैसा बने, like I want to serve Krishna as my child, so then Krishna will give that soul association of elderly gopis like Yashoda Maya and other gopis. कोई भगवान के साथ एक दोस्ती का रिलेशनशिप रखना चाहता है, तो वो साख्य रस में एंटर करता है. कोई भगवान के साथ एक लवर का रिलेशनशिप रखना चाहता है, so that person will enter in the madhurya ras amongst the gopis. Some people just want to serve like neutral way में, so they become trees and creepers and birds and animals. So basically Krishna is giving so many opportunities to all of us that in whatever way you want to serve me, I will reciprocate with you. So he's so wonderful, Krishna. He never forces anyone that you surrender to me. Never he does that. He tells that if you surrender to me, that's your best position. You will always be happy. You will always be with me, and you will always, be happily engaged in my service. But even if you do not want to be with me, whatever you want, I will give you, because you are serving me or you are doing my bhakti. right? So that is what Krishna says here. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pita. So even those who are demigod worshippers, Krishna says actually they are worshipping me only, but indirectly. They do not want to come to me directly. They want to go through some other other well-known personalities in the world, like Ganesh ji. Abhi Ganpati chal raha hai, right? Ganesh Chaturthi. Many people they bring Lord Ganesh to their home, but उनका purpose क्या है कि गणेश जी हमें रिद्धि सिद्धि देंगे. He will give me opulence. He will take away all my obstacles in the life. I will get good job. My children will be happy. So many things, right? तो सारा material desires रहता है. ये सारे चीज तो भगवान भी हमें देते हैं, कृष्ण जी भी देते हैं. कृष्ण जी also protects us. He gives us whatever we need. He helps us in so many ways. Krishna takes care of his devotees completely. But when we don't have so much faith in Krishna, then we run behind different demigods. कि चलो अब ये वाला महीना आ गया तो ये देवता का पूजा करेंगे. फिर अब next is Navratri, so they will start worshipping Mother Durga. Then so many different demigods, अलग-अलग दिन अलग-अलग देवी देवता का वो पूजा करते हैं, क्योंकि अभी तक उनको पूरी श्रद्धा नहीं आई है कि कृष्णा is my mother and father and everything and he will protect me. ये श्रद्धा आई नहीं है, तो इसीलिए फिर भगवान उनको क्या करते हैं कि if you have faith in Lord Ganesha, if you have faith in Lord Shiva, if you have faith in Mother Durga, okay fine, you worship them, no problem, because they are also my agents only, they are also my devotees. तो तुमको मैं उनके द्वारा तुम्हें जो चाहिए वो दे दूंगा. So Krishna is so wonderful that he never interferes in anybody's faith. He tells us the right thing. He tells us that if you surrender to me, you don't have to worry. Don't worry, I will take care of you. But still, if you don't want to surrender to me completely, okay, if you want to surrender to any other demigod, you can worship them. So like that, he gives us many opportunities. And therefore, there are so many Puranas, so many Vedas, because there are different kinds of people, so many varieties of people. So Krishna gives everyone an opportunity. He tells, like those who are in the mode of passion, those who are in the mode of ignorance, तो उनके लिए अलग पुराण है, 6 पुराण. There are 18 Puranas, उसमें से 6 are for the mode of goodness, 6 for the mode of passion and 6 for the mode of ignorance. तो इस तरह से अलग अलग मेंटालिटी के लोग हैं, तो भगवान ने अलग अलग पुराणास भी बनाए ताकि उसको फॉलो करके वो लोग धीरे धीरे आगे आगे बढ़ेंगे. Yeah, so in this entire purport, Krishna is explaining that. We'll read the last paragraph. Whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. So what is the message eventually? कि आपके अंदर भले कोई desire हो या ना हो, even if you have any desire, worship Krishna. Don't run here and there, behind all the demigods and this fast and ये उपवास वो उपवास ये यज्ञ वो यज्ञ. इतना करने की जरूरत नहीं है. सिर्फ कृष्णा को ही आप वर्शिप करोगे तो अगर आपके अंदर डिजायर भी होगा कोई, भगवान वो भी पूरा करेंगे. Because when we are chanting the holy name, Krishna becomes so obliged that he will never forget whatever little service you're doing. So even if we have some material desires, still we should worship Krishna, because Krishna will reciprocate, and he will reciprocate in such a way कि हमारा वो material infection भगवान ठीक भी कर देंगे, desire भी पूरा कर देंगे, और इस तरह से पूरा करते हैं कि और हमारे अंदर desire जागृत नहीं होगा, we become purified eventually. लेकिन अगर हम सिर्फ देवी देवता का पूजा करते हैं for some material desire, then हमारा हृदय purify नहीं होता. हो सकता है मेरा वो desire पूरा हो जाए, बट हो सकता है वो डिजायर जो मुझे पूरा हुआ वो मेरे लिए अच्छा भी ना हो, एंड इनफैक्ट मेरा डिजायर और बढ़ गया, मेरा कामना और बढ़ गया. लाइक इफ आई वांट सम मनी, आई विल वर्शिप लॉर्ड गणेशा, लॉर्ड मदर लक्ष्मी, एंड आई मे गेट मनी. बट हो सकता है मनी मिलने के बाद कोई समथिंग हैपेंस एंड आई लूज दैट मनी, देन इट बिकम्स मच मोर पेनफुल फॉर मी, राइट, व्हेन आई लूज दैट मनी. या हो सकता है कि आई गेट मनी बट देन नाउ आई हैव मोर डिजायर कि मुझे और पैसा चाहिए, देन आई विल. तो वो डिजायर कभी खत्म नहीं होता, हम प्यूरिफाई नहीं होते. बस क्योंकि थोड़ा सा मैंने गणेश जी का पूजा किया लक्ष्मी जी का किया तो मुझे मिल गया लक्ष्मी, बट मैं प्यूरिफाई नहीं हुई अभी तक, माई हार्ट इज नॉट प्यूरिफाइड. But when we, the same thing, the same desire, if I approach Krishna, that Krishna, I need money, please help me, then Krishna will also give me money, and I will become satisfied, and I will also, my heart will also become purified. That is the difference between going to Krishna and going to other demigods. So Krishna is saying, even if you have any material desire, you come to me, I will fulfill it, and I will also purify you, don't worry. And one who does not have any desire, like the devotees, pure devotees, they don't have any material desire, they only want to serve Krishna. So Krishna says, I give myself to those pure devotees. So like that, Krishna reciprocates accordingly to the degree one surrenders to him. So we'll stop here. Any question from anyone? Alka Mataji, Anuradha Mataji, Priyanka Mataji.
No, Mataji.
Any question?
Mataji, no Mataji.
No, Mataji.
That's
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Rajasaki Mataji. You want to say something?
Yeah, Mataji. So regarding this sloka, ye yatama prapadyante. So it is just I'm sharing few realizations based
Yeah.
on this sloka, because Krishna is saying as in how you surrender to me, to that extent he will reciprocate himself to us. So this is also seen, Mataji, because if you are thinking Krishna to be small, and he makes you feel he is small. And if you think, he is everything, and he reciprocates to us accordingly. And this is practically, we could see in our devotional practice, how he reciprocates. Because sometimes the conviction we have in Krishna, we see that others are not having that conviction. So we can understand that because they are not convinced about Krishna, so they are not reciprocated with that. So we are more convinced about Krishna, so we are reciprocated accordingly.
Yes, absolutely, Mataji. Yeah.
Yeah. So
As
that's why
just
when
faith
we are
we have, no?
preaching about, when we preach about Krishna to others, so we have to talk with a deep conviction, with whatever our realization. So with our convictions, when with suppose somebody is selling some product, they are selling some vacuum cleaner, or they are selling the TV or the washing machine or everything, you would see that most of the time we see the way the salesperson is talking, we are convinced. Isn't it, Mataji? We see that, they tell us this is a feature, that is a future, and we get convinced.
Yeah, when we go to buy something, they say, "Ye bahut acha hai, le lo." And
Yeah,
we immediately buy
exactly.
that.
We might have a budget of buying a normal phone of 10,000 rupees, but he will say that the 30,000 rupees phone is the best thing, and it has so many features and it will last long. All the things. So although we only thought of, a phone of 10,000 rupees, a basic model, but we will end up buying other things because the salesperson convinced us to do. So similarly, we are talking about Krishna, who is a supreme proprietor, who is a supreme enjoyer, who is a supreme Lord. So whenever we talk about Krishna to others, we have to talk with them with that conviction.
Yes.
And many times that conviction, we could see that, not still, again, it depends on the anarthas of another person, how much ever they have, but something at least they give the hearing. Mataji, this how I could say is, now I'm in the preaching desk in the temple. So when I'm talking about Srimad Bhagavatam, I think my voice is very loud. Other day, Isha Mataji was there. She was the gift shop. She said your voice was heard till there. And Mataji, sometimes when I'm talking to one or two person, I see the 3-4 persons are coming and standing and sit and hearing what am I talking about. At least they are getting, so they are, that conviction, with that, even though we don't call people, just hearing the voice, they come near and they try to hear from us about Krishna. So just sharing few of the incidents. So we should be very much convinced when we talk about Krishna. We should be convinced about our scriptures. We should be convinced about the process. Then we could also pass it on to others.
Yes,
To some extent. Yeah. And similarly, even in my own realization with Krishna, as you said, previously we used to, when Ganesh comes, we used to pray Ganesha. When Navratri comes, we pray here. But there was no bhakti. Just we are praying because we get something, we get some material desires fulfilled. First of all, we didn't know how to pray also, Mataji, until we read Prabhupada's book. We don't know when we go to temple what to ask for Lord, whereas we thought that we go to God to fulfill some of our desires. We thought that is the right way of worship, in fact. We didn't even know that there is some relation we have with the Lord, and the Lord reciprocates to our relationship, and He takes care of us, and we have nothing to ask. So these things, by reading Prabhupada's book and by hearing to him and by following the process of chanting and hearing and following the regulated principles, you can see that how those realizations come.
True, Madhaji, true. So
Like now
we
we see Ganesha also, we say Yatpada Pallava Yudham Vinidaya Kumbha, because we are not able to see anybody other than independent of Krishna. Without Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So we have got that connection, and it is more easy for us to see how we have so many gods, because previously it was so hard for me. Like when I was working in abroad, some of my students used to ask me, they want to know about Hinduism gods, but I didn't know how do I present them. There are so many gods. How do I even talk to them? So I was not even comfortable to talk these topics. So I always tell, we don't talk these topics. No, we have to do our portions. Maybe you will see later, because I didn't have any conviction to talk to them, because I myself didn't know how do I present. Mataji, now we have Krishna in the center as a supreme Lord, and every other Lord is not independent of Krishna. Everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna. So it becomes more easy for us to understand the overall philosophy also, and the concept of, the various gods and the supreme God as well.
Yes, Madhavi. So it's like only by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we have got all the knowledge. Yeah, and we should be
never any places Prabhupada has anywhere recommended us to do any demigod worship, because he has very told in a very, very strong manner that when Krishna is satisfied, everybody is satisfied. Yes, yasmin tushto jagat tushtam. Because sometimes, Mataji, I see even as a devotees, no, Mataji, we are not convinced. We are used to our own old habits of doing something. So I was even surprised, another as you give Krishna's juta to other god. Yes, that's what we are supposed to do. Prasad is the same, no, Mataji. We are thinking that, Krishna is the supreme Lord and Ganesha, but we think, we are offering separately to Krishna and separately to Ganesha. So we are not very clear about the concept that first we are offering to Krishna, that prasadam is what we are offering to Ganesha. So this is not even clear even amongst the devotees. Because unless otherwise we read Prabhupada's book and we hear carefully, Mataji, then we don't understand. Maybe something we are used to doing, but the way we do it should be only from Krishna, and doing it to the other gods in connection with Krishna. In fact, Mataji,
Yes.
once I heard the Ramanujacharya, he said, even if there is a fire or even if there is a thing, he will not take shelter in any of the demigod temples. Because it's better to give up the life thinking about Krishna, Narayana, than taking a shelter of a demigod. But Mataji, today it is very sad, even in the Sri Parampara, because they are not having the philosophy, they are not having strong preachers, temples are there, pujaris are there, they are just going and coming ritualistically. And some of them are saying that, I am very liberal, that I pray all the gods.
Yeah, because they do not know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is different between Devatas.
Although the Ramanujacharya was very this thing, he never even said that, he will take a shelter of, but there is nobody to preach
now.
the Sampradaya properly. So that is why the preaching is so important, because when we go to the temple, we have to hear. Now, when you hear, you are knowing something and that is connecting you to Krishna. But other temples you go, you just pray and come, they give you something, you just take and come. So finally you just feel good for some times that you visited a temple, your mind is little peaceful, you feel little good, but that doesn't have any change in your consciousness or any change in yourself, basically because you have visited a temple. But unless you hear about Krishna, that's what Prabhupada says, you see Krishna through your ears.
Yes.
That's how we see. We have to keep hearing about him. By hearing about him, we can see him. Today, Mataji, I read one of the, this thing of Prabhupada. This was way back around in 1954, when Prabhupada was in Jhansi. On one of the Janmashtami day around 1 a.m., Prabhupada was dancing ecstatically with the kirtan, bouncing, and he was having a Kadamba garland on him. And one of the Prabhuji, when he met Prabhupada, he was very surprised to see the Kadamba garland, because in Jhansi, they don't get, even if they get the Kadamba flowers or like a golf size ball. But what Prabhupada's garland had a tennis size ball. That much big Kadamba flower, and that too almost touching his legs. And he asked him, where did you get this garland? And Prabhupada did not answer anything. He was in pure ecstasy. And the next day he was telling him that, he was, praying to Krishna. He was singing for him with love, and Krishna reciprocated by putting this garland on him. And he was about to touch his feet, and Krishna disappeared. So in that ecstasy, I was dancing for the kirtan and I was bouncing. And he was crying. Prabhupada was crying with that. So we could see that Prabhupada is already such a self-realized soul, and he had everything with him, Radha, Damodar, Vrindavan. His life was perfect. But he worked so hard for us because he wants to give this mercy to all of us.
Absolutely true.
So that's what, Mataji, as a practitioner of Krishna consciousness, we should also see that everybody, at least we should talk to our friends or our relatives about Krishna consciousness, because it is not something that we keep it for ourselves and look for our own self-development and self-growth. Rather, we should also distribute this Krishna consciousness to as many as possible, at least whomsoever is in touch with us, whomsoever we come across. And that will please Srila Prabhupada, and that will please Krishna. Krishna also nachatasman manusheshu kinchin vikritama. So this is something we can do for the pleasure of Krishna and Prabhupada.
Yes, Mataji, and you're doing it very wonderfully. You're doing a wonderful job by preaching and doing so many services.
Thank you, Mataji. And at least even being in the preaching desk, Mataji, around 4-5 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam I could distribute, Mataji. At least talking to them once. And some of them I take their phone, I keep following with them. And some of them they sponsored. 3 of them they sponsored. They already had books. But I found somebody who could get it, but they cannot afford it. So we could connect and, Mataji, we could do such kind of book distribution. And other days I was thinking, because so many students are going, then at least I'm keeping the small books and giving those books to the students. They can read, and when they read Prabhupada's book, something can change in them.
So you're giving them as gift?
I tell them, Mataji, it's a donation. If they want, they can give, or they don't have anything, they don't have to give. So I give it under their discretion.
Okay. So what do they do generally? Generally, what do they do?
Most of them are paying, Mataji, because it's like 20 rupees, 25 rupees. Some of them are, very this thing. So I tell them it's okay, you just take it. Yeah. And some of them, like some old books I had, like Science of Self-Realization, those copies itself are very old. So I myself is not taking money for that. I said, it's okay, you take this book and you take this book as a free, you just keep reading. I gave them some books like that also, which I feel, some books we have been also having for quite some time in the book distribution. But quite some of them are interested, at least the students, we can make them to read, Mataji. We have a big thing, in front of the colleges or in the temples, even in normal temples also. We can distribute the books, not just our ISKCON, because somebody coming to temple, their mind is already, God conscious. So we can distribute some books like this, at least some small books of Prabhupada. We can always distribute. So because reading Prabhupada's book can bring the change in the consciousness of that person, because Prabhupada can preach himself much better than what we can all do. Just
Yes, Mataji.
I just
So,
shared my realization on this sloka, Mataji. Yeah, because the moment you think,
Tanuja Mataji, one second. Actually, I'm really sorry. I'm getting a little late for my clinic.
Sure, Mataji.
So
Sure, Mataji. No
for today, we'll wind up. Maybe we'll continue next week. Is that okay?
Sure, Mataji. No
I'm
problem,
sorry to
Mataji.
interrupt you in between, but
no problem, Mataji. That's all.
really
I just wanted to share about this
your experience.
sloka.
Yes.
Yeah, because it really
Very
helps
nice.
for us to, when we have the conviction, Krishna helps us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important message for all of us. All right. So thank you everyone for joining. If you have any questions, you can always write it down or ask in the group, or next class again we will meet and we can continue. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो
नमो
नमः।
नमः।
वैष्णव
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील
श्रील
प्रभुपाद।
प्रभुपाद